It began long before history was written, when silence ruled the earth and stone was the only witness. Beneath deserts, under oceans, and carved into mountainsides, traces of something ancient continue to surface. Artifacts that defy explanation. Objects that rewrite what it means to be human. Archaeologists label them anomalies. Scientists call them outliers. But to those who've seen them up close, there's something far more unsettling evidence of the impossible. Each discovery, no matter how small, whispers the same forbidden story. That long before our recorded timeline, someone or something walked this planet with knowledge we still haven't mastered. Across continents, the pattern repeats. In barren sands, precision-cut stones appear as if shaped by machinery. In dense jungles, temples align perfectly with constellations invisible to the naked eye. And deep within forgotten ruins, mechanisms emerge that mimic the technology of our own age. These findings should bring us closer to truth, yet each one only deepens the mystery. Who built these things? Why were they hidden? And what did they know that we have somehow lost? Scientists search for logic, historians for order, but what they keep uncovering feels less like myth and more like memory echoes of a civilization erased from time. Some discoveries seem to hint at a hidden intelligence, a deliberate design too intricate to be random. It's as if an ancient blueprint runs beneath our history, one we're only now beginning to rediscover. From the frozen tundras of Siberia to the burning sands of Egypt, every clue leads toward a chilling realization. We may not be the first advanced species to rise on this planet. These are not just artifacts, they are messages left in metal, stone, and bone. Proof that the story of humanity may be far older and far stranger than we ever imagined. This is not just archaeology. This is a trail of riddles buried deep within the earth, daring us to question everything we know. And as we count down through 20 of the most baffling discoveries ever unearthed, one question begins to echo louder than all the rest. If science can't explain them, then who can? The first discovery on our list should never have existed at all. In 1898, deep within a sealed tomb in Saqqara, Egypt, archaeologists brushed away centuries of dust to reveal a small wooden figure no larger than a man's hand. At first glance, it looked like a simple bird, but the closer they studied it, the stranger it became. The carving wasn't decorative, it was engineered. Its curved wings, vertical tail, and aerodynamic fuselage mirrored the design principles of modern aircraft, concepts that wouldn't be understood until thousands of years later. At first, experts dismissed it as a child's toy or a ceremonial ornament. Yet, when aeronautical engineers recreated it using precise scale models, the results stunned them. The replica glided smoothly through the air, maintaining perfect lift and balance, as if it were built using the very mathematics of flight. It wasn't just symbolic, it was functional. The Saqqara Bird, carved centuries before the Wright brothers, behaved like a prototype, a glimpse into a science ancient Egypt should never have possessed. But how could a civilization with no record of aviation understand aerodynamics so perfectly? Some historians suggest coincidence that its shape was merely artistic, not scientific. Others see something deeper, even deliberate. Surrounding hieroglyphs mention deities who descended from the sky on wings of fire. The carving's proportions align perfectly with sacred geometric ratios, as though it was modeled after something the artisans had once seen or been told to remember. To believers, it's a fragment of lost technology, evidence that ancient civilizations either witnessed flight or inherited knowledge from beings who could. To skeptics, it's a mystery that refuses to die. Even today, engineers admit the design's aerodynamic precision is too intentional to be accidental. Was it the echo of forgotten genius, or a model of something humanity wasn't meant to remember? Whatever its origin, the Saqqara Bird remains one of Egypt's most haunting enigmas, a relic that flutters between science and myth, between memory and imagination. Because the next artifact didn't just fly, it moved the heavens themselves. In 1901, off the coast of a small Greek island called Antikythera, divers searching for ancient treasures stumbled upon the shattered remains of a shipwreck. Among statues, coins, and fragments of pottery, they discovered what looked like a corroded lump of bronze, unremarkable, almost worthless. But when scientists examined it decades later, X-rays revealed something no one expected: an intricate arrangement of gears, wheels, and inscriptions. Hidden within that lump was a machine, a device so sophisticated it shouldn't have existed in the ancient world. The Antikythera Mechanism was more than a relic. It was an analog computer. When its gears turned, it predicted lunar eclipses, tracked the movements of the planets, and even charted the dates of the ancient Olympic Games with astonishing precision. Its complexity rivaled the craftsmanship of 18th century clockwork. Yet it had been built over 2,000 years ago, centuries before such mechanical knowledge should have been possible. Every discovery about it raised deeper questions. How could ancient Greek artisans working with primitive tools cut gears so fine, so mathematically perfect, that they could model celestial motion? The device contained over 30 bronze gears, each one calibrated to mirror the heavens. Scholars believe it was based on theories of the cosmos, but no record exists of anyone in that era describing technology so advanced. For generations, historians thought gears of such precision didn't appear until the Renaissance, yet here they were, rusting on the ocean floor. Some say it was a lost invention from a forgotten genius, perhaps Archimedes or one of his students. Others suggest something far stranger, that the knowledge behind it wasn't invented in Greece at all, but inherited fragments of an older science passed down from a civilization long vanished. Its very existence challenges the timeline of human progress. If the Greeks had mechanical computers, what else might they have known and lost? The Antikythera Mechanism stands as a bridge between myth and machine, proof that the ancient world may have reached heights of innovation history refuses to remember. And then, in the sands of Iraq, archaeologists uncovered something that made even this machine look simple. In the 1930s, among the dusty ruins near Baghdad, archaeologists unearthed a clay jar barely 8 inches tall. At first, it appeared ordinary, another vessel in a land filled with ancient pottery. But inside, they found something extraordinary. A tightly fitted copper cylinder, capped with an iron rod. To the untrained eye, it was meaningless. To scientists, it looked eerily familiar. When researchers filled the jar with vinegar or grape juice, it produced an electrical charge. A simple current from a device made over 2,000 years ago. The realization was staggering. This unassuming clay pot wasn't just a container, it was a battery. A 2,000-year-old power cell that could generate voltage long before electricity was ever discovered. The question was no longer what it was, but why? What could the ancient Mesopotamians have powered with such primitive electricity? Some researchers proposed it was used for electroplating coating jewelry and artifacts with thin layers of gold. Others believed it served a ritualistic or medical purpose, perhaps even for early experiments in pain relief or preservation. But as more examples were uncovered, similar jars scattered across the region, a bolder theory emerged. What if these weren't isolated curiosities, but components of something larger? Some archaeologists began to wonder whether the ancients had stumbled upon a form of energy technology they didn't fully understand, replicating designs passed down from an age before their own. The uniformity of the materials, copper, iron, acidic solution, suggested deliberate engineering, not accident. Mainstream science remains cautious. Skeptics argue the so-called battery may have been used for storage, not power. Yet even they struggle to explain why the construction so perfectly mirrors modern electrical cells. It's as if someone thousands of years ago knew how to control energy, and then the knowledge simply vanished. The Baghdad Battery forces us to rethink the limits of ancient innovation. If they truly harnessed electricity, even in its simplest form, what else might they have achieved that we've forgotten? How many other clues lie buried, mistaken for ordinary clay? And that's not the only technology buried where it shouldn't be. In 1986, a diver searching for hammerhead sharks near Japan's Ryukyu Islands descended into the depths and came face to face with something no one could explain. Rising from the ocean floor was a structure so vast, so precise, it looked impossible. Layered terraces, stair-like platforms, and towering stone walls stretched more than 500 feet across the seabed. It was as if an ancient city had been swallowed whole by the sea, frozen in time beneath the waves. At first, scientists dismissed it as a quirk of nature, a rock formation shaped by millennia of ocean currents and tectonic shifts. But that explanation crumbled the deeper they looked. The angles were too sharp, the surfaces too smooth, the patterns too deliberate. Some blocks appeared chiseled, others arranged like steps or courtyards, complete with paths that led nowhere, as if once meant for feet that would never walk them again. Underwater scans revealed something even stranger. The formation aligned perfectly with cardinal directions north, south, east, and west, a level of precision nature rarely achieves by chance, and etched across several stones were faint markings, symbols that resembled ancient Japanese scripts, older than any known civilization of the region. If the monument was indeed man-made, it would date back more than 10,000 years, built before the end of the last ice age, when that land was still above water. Who could have created such an architectural wonder in an age before metal, writing, or organized civilization? Some archaeologists whisper the name Mu, the fabled lost continent said to have vanished beneath the Pacific, much like Atlantis in the Atlantic. Could the Yonaguni monument be its last surviving remnant? Others propose it was the work of a prehistoric culture, one erased by the great floods that reshaped the earth. Whether sculpted by hands or carved by time, Yonaguni challenges the story of human civilization. If it was truly a city, then humanity's timeline, the rise of architecture, the dawn of engineering, must be rewritten. It would mean that thousands of years before history officially began, people were already building monuments worthy of gods. And as the ocean buried this city, another was rising from fire and stone. High in the barren hills of southern Turkey, beneath layers of forgotten earth, lies a mystery that rewrote the story of civilization. Göbekli Tepe, the hill of the navel. At first glance, it looks like any other mound of rock and dust. But when archaeologists began digging, they unearthed something impossible. A 12,000-year-old temple built with a precision that defied its time. The site predates Stonehenge by 6,000 years, and the pyramids by more than 7. Massive T-shaped pillars, some weighing over 20 tons, stand in perfect circles, carved from solid limestone and arranged with mathematical accuracy. Each one bears the mark of a deliberate hand. Foxes, vultures, scorpions, serpents, all etched into stone with artistry and symbolism no one fully understands. These were not the works of primitive hunter-gatherers. These were the works of architects, of astronomers, of minds that already understood design, symmetry, and the heavens above. According to conventional history, such complexity should have been impossible in 10,000 BCE. There were no cities, no agriculture, no writing. Humanity was still nomadic, chasing food, not building temples. Yet here, on a remote Turkish plateau, people who shouldn't have known how to build anything permanent created what some archaeologists now call the world's first cathedral. The pillars of Göbekli Tepe are not random. They align with specific constellations, Orion, Cygnus, and the star Deneb, suggesting the builders tracked the movements of the sky. Some researchers believe the carvings form a celestial calendar, a map of the heavens frozen in stone. Others see something deeper, records of a catastrophe, perhaps a comet impact or a great flood, preserved through myth and symbol. But the most unsettling mystery isn't how it was built, it's why it was buried. Thousands of years after its creation, Göbekli Tepe was deliberately entombed under layers of earth, as if someone wanted to hide it from the world. Who buried it and what were they protecting? Some theorists suggest Göbekli Tepe was humanity's first contact zone, a place where something or someone taught our ancestors how to think beyond survival, where civilization began overnight and memory began to fade, and not far away, they'd find something that might prove it. Before the rise of Sumer, before the first written word, a forgotten people flourished in the cradle of civilization, the Ubaid. Little is known about them. They left no grand cities, no monuments reaching for the sky, but what they did leave has haunted archaeologists for decades. Hundreds of clay figurines, shaped like something not entirely human. Each figure bears the same eerie traits: elongated skulls, slitted eyes, and faces that resemble reptiles more than men. Their bodies are humanoid, yet their posture feels deliberate, as if they're imitating humanity rather than belonging to it. Dated to over 7,000 years ago, these relics predate the Sumerians by centuries, and yet somehow they already carry symbols that would echo across every ancient myth to come. Some of the figurines depict mothers holding infants, the so-called lizard mother goddess. Others stand solemnly, clutching an object across their chest, as if offering something sacred or forbidden. The craftsmanship is refined, not primitive. Whoever made them knew exactly what they wanted to portray. But what were they trying to remember or warn us about? Across the world, ancient cultures speak of serpent beings, the Nagas of India, the feathered serpent of Mesoamerica, the serpent gods of Egypt, and the Anunnaki of Babylon. all described as bringers of knowledge, of light, of civilization itself. Coincidence? Or fragments of the same story retold through time? When scientists examined the unearthed figurines, they found no clear evidence of ritual damage or casual artistry. These were idols meant to be seen, feared, and revered. Some archaeologists dismiss them as symbolic, a representation of fertility or transformation, but others suspect they might have been literal records of something the unearthed actually encountered. The question that remains isn't just who the unearthed were, but what they were looking at. Were these figures gods, teachers, or something that simply watched from above, shaping humanity in their own image? Because the next discovery shows what they might have been guarding. For more than 4 millennia, the Great Pyramid of Giza has stood as Earth's most enduring riddle, a monument so vast, so precise, it defies everything we know about the ancient world. Its stones weigh hundreds of tons. Its base is aligned with true north within a fraction of a degree, and its proportions mirror the curvature of the planet itself. For centuries, explorers, scholars, and dreamers have searched its corridors, believing every secret had already been uncovered. But in 2017, that belief shattered. Using advanced cosmic ray scanning, a technology capable of peering through solid stone, scientists detected something no one expected: a massive, perfectly symmetrical void hidden deep within the pyramid's heart. A chamber untouched for over 4,000 years. Its position lies directly above the Grand Gallery, precisely aligned as though intentionally placed to guard something of unimaginable significance. The discovery sparked global debate. Egyptologists insisted it was simply a structural feature, an empty space to relieve pressure, but others saw patterns too precise to ignore. The void's geometry mirrored sacred design ratios found in the pyramid's architecture, proportions linked to celestial alignments, the stars of Orion's belt, and the cycle of the sun. Whatever was inside, it wasn't accidental, it was deliberate. Some theorists propose the chamber holds the true tomb of a forgotten pharaoh, one erased from history. Others suggest something far older, a relic left behind by the pyramid's original builders, predating Egypt itself. After all, the hieroglyphs inside the Great Pyramid mention no pharaoh, no architect, no name. They only speak of the keepers of light, beings who came from the stars and built with the sun. If this hidden chamber was truly meant to conceal something sacred, what could have been so powerful, so dangerous, that it had to be locked away in the world's most indestructible monument? Could it be a lost archive, a memory vault from a civilization that vanished before history began? Or perhaps something not meant to be found at all? Whatever waits in the darkness of that sealed room, one truth remains. The Great Pyramid still guards its final secret, and one continent away, light would reveal something even stranger. High in the Andean mountains, overlooking the ancient city of Cusco, stands one of the greatest enigmas ever carved from stone, Sacsayhuamán, a fortress, a temple, a puzzle that time itself has failed to solve. Towering walls built from megalithic blocks, some weighing more than 300 tons, rise in interlocking patterns so precise that not even a sheet of paper can slide between them. No mortar, no binding agent, just raw stone, fitted together with microscopic perfection. Each block is uniquely shaped, not rectangular, but irregular, as if molded to fit its neighbors. The angles are complex, the surfaces curved, yet every piece locks seamlessly into the next. The result? Walls that have endured for over 1,000 years, immune to erosion, earthquakes, and the march of time. Even the devastating quakes that leveled nearby cities left Sacsayhuamán untouched, as if its builders understood forces modern engineers are only beginning to grasp. But how were these stones lifted, transported, and placed with such precision? The quarry lies miles away, across rough terrain and steep hillsides. Conventional tools of the Inca, simple bronze chisels and stone hammers, could never have cut through the andesite rock that forms the fortress. Some archaeologists suggest a forgotten technology, heat-softening stone through chemical processes. Others whisper of sound, a vibrational method, perhaps using resonance to counteract gravity itself. Local legends tell of priests who sang to the stones, commanding them to move. The walls, they say, were alive, humming, resonating with the voice of the builders. And when the song stopped, the stones froze in place. It's myth, perhaps, but in recent years, modern experiments have shown that sound frequencies can alter the position of physical objects, even levitate small stones. Could Sacsayhuamán be the remnant of a civilization that once mastered such knowledge? No inscriptions, no records, and no explanations remain. Just the silent geometry of stone, whispering of forgotten science or something far stranger, because the next one might prove sound itself can move stone. At the edge of the Theban necropolis in Egypt, two giant figures rise from the desert plain, silent sentinels carved from single blocks of quartzite sandstone. Each stands nearly 60 feet tall, weathered by time yet unbroken by history. These are the colossi of Memnon monuments so ancient that even the Greeks who named them did not know who built them, but once they were said to sing. At dawn, when the first light struck the stone, travelers heard a haunting hum echo across the sands, a tone so pure it seemed alive. Roman emperors, poets, and pilgrims all recorded the same miracle. The statues spoke. Some said it was the voice of a god greeting the sun. Others swore it was the spirit of Memnon himself, the fallen hero of Troy, calling out to his mother, Eos, goddess of the dawn. For centuries, the phenomenon defied explanation. Then, after an earthquake fractured one statue, the song began. Every sunrise, the broken stone vibrated with the shifting air, producing notes that seemed deliberate, melodic, and impossibly precise. Not random wind, but resonance. And when Roman engineers repaired the cracks centuries later, the singing stopped. Modern researchers tried to reproduce the effect and found resonance frequencies within the quartzite structure, aligned perfectly with the natural harmonics of the morning air. Too perfect, some say, to be coincidence. Was it possible that ancient builders tuned the stone, shaping it to respond to sound and temperature like an instrument? If so, they understood acoustics on a level modern engineers only rediscovered in recent centuries. And perhaps these statues weren't meant to honor the dead, but to speak to the heavens, to send vibration as offering, to awaken something unseen. And deep in Europe, another stone was speaking, but in light, not sound. High in the mist-shrouded mountains of Bayan-Karaula, China, a team of archaeologists stumbled upon something that should not have existed. Buried among ancient cave tombs were hundreds of thin, circular stones discs, carved with perfect precision, each about a foot across, with a hole at its center and delicate spiral grooves running to the edge. At first, they looked like primitive records, but under magnification, the grooves revealed something far stranger: microscopic etchings that formed symbols, a language no one could read. According to early reports, the translation told a story almost too bizarre to believe of visitors who descended from the clouds and could not return to their home among the stars. The local legends called them the Dropa, small, fragile beings with large heads and luminous eyes who lived among the mountains, shunned and misunderstood. The discs, it seemed, were their message carved in stone to survive the ages. Modern analysis found traces of cobalt and other metallic compounds within the disc's elements that made them faintly conductive, as if meant to carry energy or store data. Engineers who studied replicas noted that, when spun at high speed, they produced measurable electrical charges. Ancient storytelling or ancient technology? Skeptics dismiss the entire tale as myth, a Cold War fabrication, a missing archive twisted into legend. Yet, the strangest detail remains. The original discs, once catalogued in Beijing, vanished without a trace. No photos, no museum records, no samples left to examine, only second-hand accounts and the whispers of something discovered, then buried again. If they were real, what were they hiding? An ancient warning? A stranded memory from beyond Earth? Or proof that human history began under alien skies? And that wasn't the only ancient message that disappeared. In 1912, inside a chest of forgotten relics near Rome, a rare book dealer unwrapped a manuscript that defied all logic. Its pages, over 240 of them, were filled with strange looping letters, curling like vines across the parchment. Each line followed grammar, rhythm, and pattern, yet no known language matched it. Not Latin, not Greek, not Hebrew, not anything human scholars had ever seen. And the drawings were even stranger. Plants with twisted stems and impossible flowers, species that do not exist on Earth. Women bathing in emerald pools beneath interlocking tubes, as if inside some living machine. Star maps showing constellations unrecognizable to modern astronomy. Every page felt deliberate, as though the author was documenting a world beside our own one, hidden in plain sight. For more than a century, the world's best codebreakers, from World War cryptographers to modern AI, have tried to crack its secrets. None succeeded. The writing obeys its own rules of syntax and repetition, proving it isn't random. But if it's not gibberish, then it must mean something. Something no one alive today can read. Some theories claim it's the work of medieval mystics' knowledge, encoded to survive inquisitions and wars. Others believe it's much older, a surviving relic from a lost civilization that used symbols instead of words. Their wisdom trapped in a language time forgot. But there's another possibility, one that chills even the skeptics. What if it wasn't written for us? What if it was written by something else, and we were never meant to understand? But the next discovery wasn't written in code, it was carved in stone, for everyone to see. In the dusty valleys of Ica, Peru, farmers began unearthing smooth black stones, unlike anything they'd seen before. Polished by time, each one was carved with scenes that shattered every rule of history: humans walking beside dinosaurs, performing open-heart surgery, flying strange craft through the skies. Thousands of stones, each telling a story that shouldn't exist. At first, scientists called them hoaxes. But then came the tests. When examined under microscopes, the carvings were found to be covered with a thin patina, a natural oxidation layer that takes thousands of years to form. If they were modern fakes, how could that be? Some of the stones even showed layered patina within the engravings, suggesting the markings themselves were ancient. The deeper researchers looked, the harder it became to explain. Who made them and why? Were they artistic fantasies from a forgotten culture? Coded warnings about cycles of destruction? Or impossible memories of a time before recorded history, when humans witness things science refuses to admit? One carving shows a man observing the stars through what looks like a telescope, another performing complex brain surgery. Tools, knowledge, and creatures that shouldn't have coexisted. And yet, there they are, thousands of stones, whispering a version of history we've been taught to forget. Local legends speak of an age before the flood, when giants and beasts shared the earth, and humanity walked among the gods. Maybe these stones aren't imagination. Maybe they're remembrance, a record left behind by survivors of something cataclysmic, warning the next civilization us not to repeat their mistakes. And if those carvings were warnings, then what came next might be proof they were right. In 1936, near the quiet town of London, Texas, a couple exploring a rock formation found something impossible: a wooden handle protruding from solid stone. When geologists examined it, the discovery defied reason. The rock encasing the hammer dated back roughly 400 million years, a time when, according to science, no humans existed, no mammals walked the earth, and the continents were still forming beneath primordial seas. The hammer itself was unmistakably human in design, a forged iron head fused to a smooth wooden shaft. But this wasn't ordinary iron. Laboratory analysis revealed its purity was far beyond what modern industrial methods could achieve without controlled atmospheres and advanced technology. It contained no sulfur, no carbon impurities, and showed signs of a manufacturing process that simply shouldn't have existed in any known era of prehistory. Skeptics rushed to explain it away, claiming the hammer somehow fell into a crack, that minerals slowly encased it over centuries, creating the illusion of ancient rock. But that theory failed under scrutiny. The concretion surrounding the artifact was not simple sediment. It was ancient limestone, fully mineralized and geologically consistent with deep time. The hammer wasn't inside the stone, it was part of it. So what does that mean? Was it the remnant of a lost civilization erased from the fossil record? A fragment of humanity's first forgotten rise? Or could it be evidence of something far stranger, an object displaced in time? Proof that our linear understanding of history might be an illusion. Every attempt to date the hammer, to classify it neatly into science, only deepens the mystery. Because this tool, ordinary in shape, extraordinary in age, stands as quiet testimony that someone, or something, once worked this world when it should have been uninhabitable. And beneath the ice of Antarctica, time seemed to stop altogether. Beneath 2 miles of Antarctic ice lies a world untouched for millions of years. Lake Vostok, a vast subglacial lake, has been sealed from the surface so long that it has evolved in complete isolation. When Russian scientists drilled through its frozen lid, they discovered life that defied all expectations: bacteria with DNA, unlike anything catalogued on Earth. A whole ecosystem, hidden for eons, thriving in total darkness, under crushing pressure and frigid temperatures. But the real mystery began when communications with the research team abruptly ceased. Official reports gave few details, yet satellite imagery over the lake shows persistent anomalies. Unexplained heat signatures, faint but detectable energy emanating from beneath the ice. What lies below has never been fully revealed, yet it suggests a presence alive, active, perhaps even intelligent in ways we cannot comprehend. Could this be a remnant of Earth's earliest life, or something introduced from beyond? Whatever the truth, it challenges our understanding of life itself. A place isolated for millions of years may have preserved secrets that could rewrite biology, ecology, and even our conception of evolution, and that same kind of energy was once trapped in stone. Across the globe, 13 quartz skulls have surfaced, each identical in size, shape, and uncanny precision. Carved from a single block of crystal, these skulls are so perfect that modern technology struggles to replicate them without shattering the stone. Some date back thousands of years, though their origin remains a mystery. When placed under light, the skulls refract beams in complex patterns, resembling encoded data. Some even emit electromagnetic fields detectable by sensitive instruments. Were these ceremonial relics, or are they something more, repositories of information, memory devices left behind by an unknown civilization? Legends say that when all 13 skulls are united, they will reveal humanity's origin, a story lost to time, written in crystal. But origin of what and from where remains unknown. Could it be that these artifacts were never meant for us, that they were warnings or guides left by beings who existed before recorded history? And that origin may not have been on this planet. Carved into stone over 4,000 years ago, the Sumerian king list documents rulers who reigned for tens of thousands of years long before the Great Flood. Some kings are said to have descended from the sky, ruling with knowledge and power beyond ordinary humans. Across distant cultures, Egyptian, Indian, Mayan, these rulers appear again under different names, their legends eerily consistent. Historians call it myth, yet geological evidence confirms a catastrophic flood around 10,000 BCE. Could these texts be memories of real events, encoded as myth? Or are they testimony to visitors, ancient gods, extraterrestrial guides, or lost civilizations shaping humanity long before history began? Every line carved in stone suggests a civilization aware of time, technology, and knowledge we only rediscovered millennia later. The king list is more than record-keeping. It may be a signature, a subtle message from a forgotten age, because the number one discovery might be their signature left in plain sight. Roughly 50,000 years ago, the trajectory of human evolution changed forever. Intelligence, which had developed gradually over millions of years, suddenly accelerated. Art, music, language, tools, and civilization all appeared within a span of mere generations. Scientists call it the Great Leap Forward, yet its cause remains one of history's deepest mysteries. Genetic analysis reveals an anomaly, a sudden insertion of DNA that does not match natural evolution. Some researchers propose an intervention, a rewiring of the human genome by an external source. Mythology across cultures tells of gods descending from the stars, imparting knowledge, then vanishing. Perhaps these stories are not myth, but history, a record of intervention, guidance, and awakening. From the artifacts hidden beneath oceans to the cryptic records carved in stone, the fingerprints of these unknown benefactors are everywhere. Perhaps they never left. Perhaps they are waiting for humanity to reach the point where we can understand what they started. And perhaps we already have. The deeper we dig into the past, the more fragile our understanding of history becomes. Every artifact, ruin, and relic challenges what we thought was certain. The Saqqara Bird, the Antikythera Mechanism, the London Hammer, each tells a story that conventional timelines cannot contain. Each whispers a truth humanity has been unwilling or unable to confront. That our origins may be far stranger than the textbooks admit. Maybe these discoveries do not prove the existence of aliens or gods. Perhaps they are fragments of forgotten human civilizations' knowledge and technology, erased by cataclysm, by conquest, or by the inexorable passage of time. Or maybe, just maybe, they are evidence of something older, something that shaped our species long before the dawn of recorded history. Across every continent, every culture, the stories converge. Myths of visitors from the sky, tales of teachers, guides, or gods who came before the dawn. Legends of beings who bestowed knowledge, left warnings, and vanished, leaving only symbols, monuments, and encoded messages for future generations. Science may label these anomalies as mistakes coincidences, or natural phenomena. Myths call them gods. But between the two lies a silence, a truth encoded in stone, ice, and DNA. A truth that waits patiently for humanity to awaken and recognize it. Perhaps humanity is not the first, but the last. Perhaps our ancestors were not human at all, but the seeds planted by something ancient, patient, and intelligent. And as each new discovery surfaces, as each hidden chamber, carved stone, or encoded crystal reveals its secrets, one question echoes louder than any other. Were we truly the creators of our destiny, or the inheritors of a plan written long before our species ever existed? History is not what we think. It is not linear. It is not fully ours to understand. Every ruin we uncover, every anomaly we study, is a fragment of memory, a fragment of a truth deliberately buried, waiting for the moment when humanity is ready to remember. Because history isn't what we think, it's what we've been allowed to remember.